What's up, everybody? Welcome to Friday, my first deload workout this week. Well, my first official one. Friday and Saturday are my deload days, and looking forward to it. Today it's going to be a lighter workout, doing my bent arm strength workout, and I'm very happy to say that all of the pain in my shoulder from the minor muscle tears that I sustained last Friday is completely gone. Can't feel anything in the shoulder today, which was funny. On Wednesday, I think it really peaked, and it was really painful. Like, I even took an anti-inflammatory tablet, which I almost never do, and then it's just gotten better and better and better, which is, you know, with minor muscle tears at least, that's what you can do very, very quickly. If you know how to just adjust your program and do the exercises that are going to stimulate repair and recovery rather than exercises that are going to make it worse, things can repair really quickly. So, yeah, I'm really happy. I'm going to stay the path with the program that I've written for myself at the moment, though, because my current program is working on structural balance to work out a strength imbalance from left side to right side. My left shoulder has been revealed to be much weaker than my right shoulder. So I'm still going to do a 4-week program and reevaluate at the end of my 4 weeks. Might even do a second program for structural balance, and then we'll see where we go from there. And I'm going to be doing some middle splits training today as well with my bent arm strength. So I'll do some funky end range contractions and a bit of loaded middle splits and some butterfly work. See how that all goes. All right, everything's feeling good. I might just get into my adductors one more time to really prep myself for this middle splits work coming up. Okay. Oh, it's a good day over here. It's really nice and sunny, but it's not too hot. It's been very hot this last week. The last couple of training sessions have just been, just killing me. Okay, that's my foam rolling done. Now I'll do my hip flexors here. This is so right thing for anybody that's got tight hip flexors. Oh, this thing is magic. Oh, woo! Oh man, that gets right in there. Oh, there's no escaping that. All right, here we go. All right. Now I'll just do my little bit of ankle mobility. I've been really working this lately because I haven't worked on ankle mobility for a while, and I had a pretty nasty tear in one of my ankles, in this foot, sorry, not the ankle, many years ago, and it's restricted by mobility. Geez, I tell you what, like before I had the slap tears in my shoulder, I would not have known what to do with the shoulder injury that I sustained exactly a week ago now, 7 days ago. And, it was pretty painful, and it's stopped me dead in my tracks from doing my pike push-ups. If you can watch the video, it'd be, pretty sure it's day 16 of this series. And you can see the moment where I do it, and I try and do another rep and I can't do it. And it was a very sharp pain up through my bicep, and then the next day or two started to feel pain in other parts of my shoulders. And if I didn't, because I've rehabilitated a slap tear in both shoulder, and I worked very closely with some really, really good sports physiotherapists, it gave me a really, really good understanding of what to do, with a shoulder injury. And if I didn't know that, I don't know where I'd be now. I wouldn't have been able to I wouldn't have done the work that I've done in the last week to recover so quickly. And maybe I would have been going to see a physiotherapist or whoever it was, but it's responded very well to the program, to the workouts that I've given it. So that's good. Oh, a little bit of shoulder, of rotator cuff activation. Okay. All right. So I'll do my first set at 20 kilos this week, because last week I did 17 and a half and I was definitely okay, which means my first warm-up set I'm going to do 12 and a half kilos. And I'm also doing a dumbbell bent over row today, so I'll warm up on roughly the same weights. All right. So I do especially with an injury, I do a 4-3-2-1 warm up. So now I'll do 3 reps at a little bit of heavier weight. Then I'll do the row. Okay, so now I'm on 2 reps at 17 and a half. So this is almost what I'm going to lift for my first set. Haven't done a dumbbell bent over row for quite a while, so I'm not sure how much I'll lift. But this is why a 4-3-2-1 warm-up is so good, because you feel what you're going to lift during the warm-up. And so I like to get that done as quick as I can, because you want a little bit of a rest between your final warm-up set and that one rep. I always do my last rep at the weight that I'm going to be lifting. So that's the weight that I'm going to do for 8 reps now. So, all those warm-up sets done back to back like that, you need a moment to recover, to be able to, to do it to be able to produce max effort. So what am I doing here? Just getting my workout ready. So, yeah, I think a lot of people maybe don't warm up properly and get injured because of that reason. It's, when you go through, like, if I'm going to lift 20 kilo dumbbells or 44 pound dumbbells, and I start at 12.5 kilos, so what's that, 27 pounds, each increment that I go up, it gives me that opportunity to go, oh, that's not feeling good. I think I'll just work on that weight today. Sometimes it even gives you the opportunity to get to your max weight and go, oh, that was pretty easy. I might go a bit heavier. But without that incremental warm-up with weights, it can be problematic. Okay, let's get a set done. All right. Well, actually, just remembered that I'm only doing a deload workout today, but I don't deload the weight, I deload the volume. And I'm going to do a couch stretch in between, not a couch stretch, a hero stretch for my hip flexors. Because this is a quadricep stretch, but the rectus femoris, one of the 4 quadricep muscles, crosses the knee and the hip. So it is a hip flexor. So this is really good for it. And because my hip flexors are so tight, I do a lot of work on them. So I do a lot of loaded stretching, and I also do some passive stretching like this. And then after this, I'll get into my middle splits flexibility. But using that recovery time like that to do flexibility training is such a great way to be efficient. Works so well. Woo! I was doing that first set thinking, because last workout I only did one set at 20 kilos, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be interesting for all 4 sets. And then I remembered I'm deloading and I'm only doing 2 sets. And there was this sigh of relief that came over me. Okay, Let's get some bent over rows done. Woo. Haven't done dumbbell bent over rows in quite a while. And I'm doing them because I'm getting over this last little bit of golfer's elbow. And I'm very happy to report that the changes that I made to my programming, I can almost not feel it at all now. Doing that and pushing your fingers together, really feel golfer's elbow. And so that's my test. And it's almost non-existent now after only 1 week or 2 weeks of changing my program. And so you need to reduce the load on those wrist flexors, but while still stimulating muscle growth. So the main thing for that was to change grip on my pull-ups and to only do pull-ups once a week instead of 3 times a week, and then replace the other 2 days a week of pull-ups with rows, which is a much less load on the wrist flexors, and also to change the grip around of a couple of things that I was doing. So going to a neutral grip instead of a supinated grip, and then also to do wrist flexion specific exercises, so dumbbell wrist flexion. So it's responding really well. And I've been like coasting along, still trying to hold on to as much of my old programming as I can, like with 3 days a week of pull-ups. And I just got to this stage after months where I was getting through my workouts, but it was always still there. And if it's always still there, and my goal is to do one-arm pull-ups, then as soon as I try and do anything single arm, that load is so much more. And that's the golfer's elbow, what's going to be the thing that stops me. So I just thought, nah, I'm gonna just focus on getting it fixed. So that's why I'm doing rows instead of pull-ups. Okay, here we go. Last set. Those down there. All right, no more shoulder press for today. Deload workouts, so much easier than they're meant to be, There's different ways to deload. I don't like to reduce the intensity, which means to lift less weight. I like to still strive for increases in intensity if possible, but deload the volume, so less sets. So because my hip flexors are so tight, they pull me into an anterior pelvic tilt in this position. So I'm trying to tense my abs, which helps to pull me into a posterior tilt, which then lifts my knees off the ground, of course. but it's all about trying to get closer to straight spine through the hips into the femurs. But for me, there's a bit more work to be done before I get there. But I have made really good improvement. I couldn't do that a while ago. So I have made improvement. And that's what it's all about. Chipping away, getting it done. So 2 minutes rest. And during those 2 minutes, I'm doing some flexibility training. But it means that, set of shoulder press, 2 minutes rest, set of bent over row, 2 minutes rest. By the time I go back to my shoulder press, it's been almost 5 minutes. So it's heaps of rest, but I've also done flexibility training and trained the antagonistic muscles. Very efficient. Woo! Okay, now I'm onto my supplementaries. I'm doing bicep curl, tricep extension. I'm doing a neutral grip bicep curl for the golfer's elbow. So we keep the upper arm vertical, thumbs at the end of the weight. And I don't need to do warm-up sets now because my body's warmed up. All right. And then I'm pairing these with a 30-degree incline tricep extension just to change the angle of the humerus when doing the tricep, because the long head of the bicep and the long head of the tricep, they both cross the shoulder joint. So the bicep actually assists in shoulder flexion and the tricep assists in shoulder extension. So by changing the angle of the humerus, when you're doing bicep curls or tricep extensions, you hit the muscles differently. So it's just a way to periodize and change the stimulus a bit. So you want to get your humerus, the upper arm vertical, and then you just move the forearm. And then my active recovery is my first middle splits exercise now. So let's get a timer going. 12 and a half, 8 reps, 17 and a half. All right, so my timer's on. My arms are resting, getting ready for their next set. But I'm using the time to work on my middle splits. And I like to open my middle splits training with some form of butterfly. It's just a good way to, it's a good exercise to warm up towards your middle splits. And so after this, I'll do a little bit of end range strength for the glutes with an active middle split. And I do some contractions here, so I relax and then I contract my glutes hard, contract the glutes, pulling down, and then I relax. And by contracting the glutes, which is the antagonistic muscles to the adductors, we can hack the nervous system and increase our flexibility. Okay. All right. Round 2, final round. All right. Whew. For me, my triceps are more developed than my biceps. So they're not the triceps aren't a limiting factor for me in any of the things that I'm working on right now. The biceps are. So I'm more focused on tempo and lifting maximal weights with my bicep curls than I am with my tricep extensions, which means I don't mind having a short rest for triceps because I don't mind if I can't produce maximal strength. And I also don't really care if I stick to tempo or not. So it's just a way of, getting the most out of the workout, but still not neglecting areas that need work, because we always have to train antagonistic movements to maintain structural balance. All right. That's that. One more set of loaded butterfly. Get a timer going. I always record my reps and my weight right after I've done them, so that I don't forget, and also so that I don't forget what set I'm on. Like when I'm doing workouts like this, I forget sometimes I'm on the second set or the third set, and that's not, I want to be very accurate, very deliberate with the amount of volume I'm doing. So if you don't know what the difference between volume and intensity, best way to describe it is intensity is how heavy or how hard. Volume is how much. So intensity, I'm lifting 17.5 kilos here. I can increase intensity by going to 20 kilo weights, and I can reduce intensity by going to 15 kilo weights. And I'm doing 2 sets of 60 seconds work. I can increase volume by doing 90 seconds work in each set, or by doing 3 sets, and I can reduce volume by doing 30 seconds work in each set, or by doing 1 set. So that's a basic description of what volume and intensity is. And they're two variables that are very, very important to manipulate through programming. It's not like to be able to grow muscle, increase strength, increase flexibility, we have to be using progressive overload and periodization, and it's through the manipulation of intensity and volume that we do both of those things. And that's what programming is. And that's why I don't like just turning up to the gym and working out what you're going to do when you get there. Just going, oh, I might do some of this today. I'd rather be more methodical than that. Okay, what have I got next? Getting there. Okay, now I'm doing my seated external rotation and my middle splits work. Okay, so external rotation, very important for shoulder injuries. The external rotation pattern. Although you don't start with a seated external rotation like this, you start with your elbow closer to the hip. Oh, 1 extra rep than I got in my last workout. So that's a way to increase volume. To go from 8 reps to 9 reps. And that is progressive overload. So, a lot of people ask, when do you go up in weights? All of what I'm about to say is only if your technique is perfect. If your technique's good, so I'm doing sets of 8, I go to 9 reps. When I get to 10 reps, if I do all my sets at 10 reps, next workout I can go up in weight. And on an exercise like this, I'd go up in 1 kilo. So I'd go from 7.5 to 8.5 kilos. That would probably drop me back to 8 reps. I'd repeat the process again until I got to 10 reps, and then I'd go up again. I'd go up at that stage to 10 kilos. That's how you use progressive overload. That's how you know when to go up in weight. This is middle splits training. So what I'm doing here is, this is an end range contraction for my glutes. Hold it for 10 seconds. Okay. And then I get down on the ground and do my most criticized exercise. So this is another end range contraction for the glutes, except when I was on the pull-up bar there, gravity was working against me going to end range. Now gravity's working with me, so it makes it easier. And I try to contract my glutes as hard as I can. 10 seconds. And again, 10 seconds. And one more. All right, so as quickly as I could move the camera in here, take my shoes off and set up my spot. I'm into it and get my timer going. Basically, I want to do it as quick as I can. Okay, and then I get down. First set's never as good as your second set, which is never as good as your fifth set. So you don't push yourself. Get into the posterior tilt. Squeeze those legs together. Oh, all right. So I use that stick as a measurement so I know where my feet should go to be either at the same distance or further or less or whatever than the last workout. Woo! Man. Okay. Massive mistake I made in my earlier years of flexibility training. So when I started to really try and get flexible in my late 30s, was forcing my middle splits, like trying to force myself to go wider. And I did so many muscle tears. I wasted so much time. You've just got to go to where you can go, and you do your best effort, and you just keep working, and that range will increase. All right, round 2, final round for the shoulder conditioning. Oh, man. So I'll try to get into my active middle splits as quick as I can after that, because there's a carryover from those end range contractions that gives you a window of increased flexibility. See how much deeper I've gotten on my second set? If I did all 5 sets, or 5 sets I should say, by the end you get to your max depth. So don't try to get max depth ever on your first set. And now for the last part of this workout, just a little bit of wrist flexion work specific for my golfer's elbow. You can really not only overcome injuries like golfer's elbow and slap tears and torn rotator cuffs, but you can become stronger than you ever were before the injury, which in my opinion should really be the goal. Like when you get injured, you go, oh my God, I'm not as bulletproof as I thought I was. I'm going to get stronger than I was before. When you follow a good program, it all happens for you. Okay. Oh my God. That's all she wrote. Check out my afternoon handstand flexibility and flow workout. And I'll see you in my next workout.